of the Big Womening podcast. This podcast is about life, love, and what it means to be a big woman. And when we're talking about being a big woman, we're not talking about size necessarily. You can be. You absolutely can be. This is a body positivity podcast, 100%, as you can see. But we're also talking about becoming a big woman in yourself, becoming a big woman in your community, becoming a wise woman, becoming a woman that other women look to, and becoming a woman who supports others. So that's what we mean when we discuss big womening and what it means to be a big woman, okay? And who am I, who you can hear and who you can see? So my name is Jordan, and I go by Jordan Speaks on all of the socials that I am going to plug now, okay? So you can find me, where am I? Every week, thing is, oh my God, I don't even make it through the introduction. Every week, I forget what my socials, but they're the same thing. Anyway, Jordan Speaks on TikTok and Instagram. Follow me. You'll see some of my content, and I'll also post more about this podcast, which drops every Wednesday, by the way. So make sure that you subscribe on YouTube and on Spotify so that you are kept up to date with the podcast. That's the spiel. Let's get into episode 6 of the Big Womening podcast. So you guys should know by now how much I love Am I the Asshole scenarios, stories, topics. You know, every episode I try to squeeze an Am I the Asshole in because it's the gift that keeps on giving. I love Reddit. I'm always having a little read through the scenarios, and I think I found a good one. So let's get into it. My son, 45M, is dating a much younger girl, 19M. So that's... Oh gosh, okay. I, 69 female, have 2 sons. The younger one is 37, is married to his high school girlfriend, and they have 2 daughters. Cute! The eldest, Sam, 45, moved to New York to focus on his career, and now he's at the point where he can relax a little. Focus on his career, is it? But yet he found a girl who is literally half his age. Literally. Okay. All mothers love their sons, but he is objectively good looking, tall, smart, successful, and kind. He's had a couple of his age long-term girlfriends. I've always been sad he hasn't found a life partner yet, but understood he was doing it at his own pace until I met his girlfriend a few days ago. This 69F, this mother, she sounds lovely. She sounds lovely. Doesn't she sound really level-headed? She sounds like she holds the family together. She loves her boys. She just sounds lovely. But I don't know how I've managed to get all of that from this, but I have. Anyway, over Thanksgiving, both sons flew home to us. My son brought home his girlfriend that he's been dating for almost a year. I'd heard about her from him and he sounded happy, but he's not the type to share that much with me or his father. Okay, so this son, the 45-year-old, is just in New York doing his own thing, clearly. When he said he'd like to bring her for Thanksgiving, we were excited to finally meet the girl he's so serious about. When she walked in, we were all shocked. She looked so young. She looked so young. So beautiful and mature, but definitely young. I pulled him aside and asked how old she is. He looked embarrassed and said she was turning 20 soon. That's a big age gap. It's a big age gap. It is. I'm with this mum. I never expected him to go for someone so young. Maybe someone 30 or 35, as I know he wants children soon, but not someone in their first year of college. And you know what? It's not even the age gap that... Hold on, let me just finish this because I'm already... We went back to dinner. I didn't want to make the poor girl feel bad. My husband and younger son staring was rude enough, so I was very welcoming to her. Good, as you should. It's not her fault. She's just enjoying Thanksgiving with you and your family. She's very intelligent, nice, confident, and so on, but in the manner of a precocious teen. Her family are wealthy, so she's not financially dependent. Okay. Dinner was awkward, but fine. At the end of the evening, everyone went to bed, but it made me feel nauseous to know what was happening in my own house. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, the next day, and this is the edit, they left together but split when he dropped her at the airport. Had to leave so she could see her family. My son went to visit his childhood friends in our hometown, but he's coming back tomorrow. Is this relationship possibly healthy? Can I voice my concerns, or is it none of my business? Has anyone dealt with something similar in their family? And the mother's put an edit. Please stop messaging asking if I want revenge by dating a younger man. Woo! Oh, people are crazy. Who would even put that? That's not what this is about. This is a valid thing. Imagine your son, your 45-year-old son, brings home a 19-year-old. Why? Of all, and I've been to New York once or twice, of all of the women of age in New York, it's the 19-year-old that you want. And this is what I was going to say earlier, because I think before I just started rambling, as a 45-year-old man, what do you have to talk about with a 19-year-old? And this is the thing, because I'm 30, I'm in my early 30s, and which is great. I love that for me. What am I talking about with a 19-year-old? School. Maybe I'm talking about like exams. Like maybe I'm giving some like auntie advice. What am I talking about with a 19-year-old? So what is this guy who's got a decade plus on me? What are you talking about with a 19-year-old? And that's why I find age gap relationships so interesting, because what are you talking about? If she can't understand certain references, cultural, societal references in shows, if she can't quote Friends, if she can't quote movie quotes, if she can't sing particular songs, if she doesn't know who Diana Ross is, if she doesn't know certain things, what is it that you, and I'm making an assumption, maybe this girl knows all of this, but at 19, how much can you know? What is he talking to this girl about? What is she talking to him about? I wonder how old her parents, I've got so many questions. I wonder how old her parents are. And it's interesting that she's not taking him home to her side. That's interesting. Note that he dropped her at the airport because she went home without him. He went off to go and see friends. So she's not bringing you home. And I wonder why. I think this mother sounds great. I think she's handled the situation very well. I feel like the dad and the brother who were just staring rudely, maybe they need to have a conversation with him, because why is it always the mothers who need to have conversations with their sons? Maybe he's like, because she said that he's dated long term before with older women. I mean, women who are more around his age. Maybe he's like in rebellion about that. I think she should have a conversation with him about his choices, because that's a big age gap, a huge age gap actually, and she should just ask him in a non-judgmental way, which I think she'll be able to do, because the way she's written this scenario says to me she absolutely knows like how to have a conversation with somebody in an effective way, because it's weird, but I think we see that a lot, and I think we hear like, I'm not saying this guy's like a passport bro or anything, but we hear of passport bros, and there's a certain demographic of men who are, you know, trying to make it in life so that they can go and find like a younger girl to be with, and you know, that's all very interesting. But what happens when you're in two different spaces in your life? What happens when you want children but she wants to live her life and travel and, you know, be in her 20s, having a great time in her 20s, as I sure did, as many women did. Your 20s are a time to explore things, but you know, if you wait for her to get out of her 20s, you're going to be 55, and I doubt the timescales work. So yes, this mother should have a conversation with her son just to understand where he's at, future planning, and yeah, and maybe the dad should have a conversation as well, because he was just staring rudely, which is not very helpful. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is a really good Reddit. But Reddits are always good, which is why I love them so much. So this week's big womaning chat, every week I like to bring a chat to us around the table as if we're in the kitchen, to sit down and have a discussion. This week's big womaning chat is about this TikTok I was listening to earlier, and it really shocked me. It really shocked and surprised me. So let me just find an article that I found. Basically, this content creator, I think I might repost her on my page. So follow me at Jordan Speaks on TikTok. But she asked a really interesting question, and she was like, are you friends with your future self? I was like, what? TikTok has me in a chokehold because my algorithm is really algorithming, because I honestly love some of the videos I come across. Such great content, and I hope my content will also be as great as theirs is one day. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if people watch my content and are shocked by the question. The question was, are you friends with your future self? And I had to sit down, and I was like, friends with my future self? I have never considered this. So this is gonna just be a bit of a reflection, because I've got nothing more to give you. Sorry guys, usually I try and come with a little bit of an opinion, but I'm still surprised by this topic and this question by itself. But anyway, I found an article in Psychology Today. So, and who's this by? By Mariana Pogerson, PhD. And she's written an article called Becoming Friends with Your Future Self. And I'll just quote a little bit of it, because I was honestly like, what is this even about? Clearly I've got some more work to do. But it says, this is a study that was done. So Hirschfield explores in his new book, Your Future Self, How to Make Tomorrow Better, 2023. So it's just come out. Maybe go and grab that. I might go and grab that, because I have not considered this. The reason why our future selves seem like strangers to us is partially due to the abstractness and uncertainty of tomorrow. A central question of Hirschfield's research is how to make the future self more vivid in order to create an emotional connection between the present and future selves. Strengthening this relationship is important because it can facilitate behaviors that benefit our well-being from both now and later. And that's exactly what the TikTok was saying. The TikTok was saying that if you have a good relationship with your future self, so you can see your future self, I don't know, maybe you talk to your future self, maybe you visualize your future self, what you start to do is make decisions now which will benefit your future self. So you're going to start working out more often. You're going to start drinking water. As I reach for some water, my future self will thank me. You're going to start eating better. You're going to start maybe fostering better relationships with your colleagues, with your friends, with your family members. You're going to start almost being good to your future self because you have a relationship with them. This idea has knocked me off my feet. Like, it really has. This article goes on to give 5 ways to strengthen the connection between you and your future self. So let me just give the summary. If you guys want it, this article is in Psychology today. And the 5 ways to strengthen the connection is to start a conversation between yourselves by writing a letter to your future self and sending back a reply. That seems like it will be quite difficult. But I like the idea of writing a letter to your future self. Like, I have done some work, like journaling work, where I've written my goals as if they have happened. So, you know, oh, this is what's happened, you know, like I am this multinational, well-known podcaster, life coach. I've got, you know, a big following. My community is thousands of amazing women who are really engaged, who are finding so much value in what I do. You know, like I've written that, and you know, fingers crossed that's what I'm working towards. But I've written that, and I found that really helpful. So a letter to your future self. What else? Consider 2 things that will likely remain consistent between you and your present self and future self, because it can ease some of the anxiety about the future's uncertainty. That's helpful. Visualizing the best version of yourself. That's what I was just talking about. So you can visualize what your future self will be wearing, doing, saying, how your future self will be living. Seems to be very important. Imagine yourself in old age. I think a lot of people struggle with old age. And I think if you spent time imagining yourself in old age, I think that would be so helpful for many people who struggle with the fact that they're getting older. That's a great one. And also, finally, explore how your personality has changed over the past few years. How have you become? Have you become more or less extroverted, introverted, empathetic? How has your personality changed over the last few years? And how might it change moving forward? Guys, let me know in the comments, have you ever thought about your relationship with your future self? Because until today, I had not. But this is a real eye-opener, guys. Let's do some work. So each week I come with a quote from an inspirational woman, because who better to learn from than other inspirational women who are big womening. And this week I'm going to keep it very simple, very light, because the last few weeks have been quite heavy quotes, I think, when I was listening back. But this week's quote is going to come from Marilyn Monroe. She needs no introduction. You guys know Marilyn. Marilyn was out here just causing an absolute storm. She was such a child, she was just, if we're talking about big women, Marilyn Monroe is absolutely up there. And she says this: strong women don't have attitudes, we have standards. Strong women don't have attitudes, we have standards. Mic drop. Like, what is there to say about that? And I think it definitely, when you are a strong woman, when you are embarking on your big womaning journey, and you are setting standards for yourself, which means that other people around you are also being held to a standard, sometimes you will be considered to have an attitude. And it's not an attitude, it's a standard. And Marilyn Monroe has reminded us of that today. So thank you, Marilyn. We love you, Marilyn. You were out here just being great and amazing, and had your own struggles, but still managed to be so influential. So we will remember this quote, because we are on our journey to becoming big women. And that is it for this week's episode 6 of the Big Womening podcast. I'm so happy you guys joined me this week. It's been a great episode, I think. If you think it's been a great episode, please follow me. Where are you following me on? At Jordan Speaks on TikTok and Instagram, and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and on Spotify, guys. And I will see you next week for another installment of the Big Womening podcast. Okay, bye.